lady. No, sorry, the lady there. Yes, you.
What is the cost of the turbines going in the North Sea, putting them down, the maintenance and all the rest of it, as against putting the money into hydropower?
Okay, yes, okay. Hydropower is wonderful, right? That's why Norway is so rich, because they actually use all their own hydropower and they sell all their own oil and gas to us. Okay. We have some limited hydropower. You probably haven't heard of the Glendo Tunnel, have you? No. Okay. The Glendo Tunnel was to be the big hydro scheme, taking water from Loch Ness, pumping it up to Loch Orr or whatever it is, and running it down. It was opened in June 2009 by the Queen. In October 2009, it had a collapse because of inadequate geological investigation. So the largest scheme which has been planned for hydro in the last 50 years in the UK didn't last more than three months, which is very, very worrying, actually.
Are they repairing it?
Yes, it's costing, well, at the minute there's a large litigation going on against certain companies. It's going to cost £75 million to redirect through that. Hydro is very good, but it's very localised in the UK. I think Nigel made a slightly flippant comment of actually using wind power to pump energy uphill. That is a really good idea. At Keele, what we intend to do is to pump water. We have 5 lakes. With our wind, the trouble is storing energy, not generating it, to pump the water up to the upper lake and have micro hydro working. Yes, hydro is wonderful. The cost of offshore wind is about £3 million per megawatt. It's about maybe a bit more, £5 million per megawatt. It's about £1 and a bit million per megawatt. It's not cheap. Okay, but there is no such thing as cheap, easy electricity. We think there is because we flick a switch. All over the world, as someone said, you don't flick switches and have electricity. We're actually really very fortunate to have that. It may not last forever though.
The Idle power station is a pumped storage power station in Wales, 2,000 megawatts.
Yeah.
Fantastic scheme.
Yeah.
Very quick. The problem is we've flooded a lot of valleys.
Yeah.
A lot of people's home floors.
The lady there who thought I was
That's
calling.
okay. Can I just say, I'd like to support this gentleman's sentiments about trying to live a very clean world, and I think he's correct. However, I would ask a couple of things here. Why is the government not stopping our farmers having to pull milk away, and we're bringing it from the continent and making more CO2? We keep on saying all this about CO2. We don't believe it. We don't show it within the House of Commons. We're all jetting off. You know, we've got farmers that are really struggling sometimes. So, that's the one thing I say. To go back to your wind turbine, sir, I would say as well that we don't know how much CO2 it takes to transport these things, because a lot of them come from abroad, do they not? We don't make them here, to my knowledge, am I correct?
We don't know.
No, we don't, thank you. That's all I need. So we don't make them here. We have to bring them into the villages, etc. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit nervous here.
You're doing very well.
That's okay. We bring them into the villages. We don't know the true cost of that because nobody is being honest with us. And I come back to that.
That's why I've asked for this moratorium. It seems to me an awful lot of sense in that the localised distribution of wind energy on small-scale projects that benefit the local community are a good idea. They don't have a big impact on the national grid. They don't have a big impact on our economy. The problem is we have these massive, large wind farms which will take massive subsidies. The government wants to spend £110 billion and we haven't got the economic nous to
But
do
the
it.
government seems to be green. This is the thing about it. It's actual propaganda. They all seem to be green. But you're not being green because you're not actually living the green life.
No, I actually agree with a lot of what you say. I mean, as I said earlier, part of the problem is that the government has got this international treaty about the amount of renewable
But we signed up
energy.
to it, Michael.
Yeah, and also I find it very amusing. I won't embarrass the minister by naming him, but one particular minister who's responsible for green stuff has flown around the world more than any other minister. So I mean, it is remarkable. He would argue, of course, because of international conferences that he has to attend.
I hate to slag of politicians, but perhaps they need to consult a bit more widely before they see targets out of the air. Scotland says it will have 100% renewables by 2050.
Is that achievable?
How does he do that?
No. All right, and we're now going to be taking people who've already asked. Oh, but this gentleman hasn't asked a question.
I'm sure
We're going to finish at 1, by the way. We're going to finish at 1.
I'm sure there's a simple answer to my engineering question. Looking at the profile of the windmill, which you can't see, it looks as though 95% of the wind goes straight through, and the windmills are very narrow. Now, we used to have a lot of windmills around farms, which were rather like fans. You could see that none of the wind went through. Why does these modern windmills are so small?
59.7%.
Yeah, well, it's partly to do with aerodynamics and actually causing turbulent flow. It isn't, you know, why does an aeroplane propeller, or why do you only have certain blades? It's to do with the aerodynamic flow. It's called, you know, they are designed to extract the maximum possible, and also to be steerable in that they can actually feather. They can, depending as wind increases, they can change the attack angle so that they actually remain at about the same generation. So it's all to do with the aeronautics and the laminar flow through them. If you have too much generation of turbulence, then that affects other wind turbines, because remember, these are often aggregated. So if you took all of the energy out of the wind in one and caused vortexes, then you wouldn't actually have energy which spreads through. So believe it or not, it may not seem like it, but a huge amount of actually quite clever engineering goes into it.
I think the gentleman's thinking of those things you see in Australian farms where they use them to pump up the water.
Yeah, there's only one of those though.
Whittington.
I'm not to ask you to see again, but I just, a couple of things really. Just one point about, a lot of people have raised this sort of question about the amount of carbon produced in manufacturing wind turbines as against how much carbon they actually save. Well, the book that I regard as the Bible on the issue of renewable energy by Professor David Kye, Professor of Physics at Cambridge University, it's called Renewable Energy Without the Hot Air, by the way, and it's quite hard going, but it's got a lot of...
And freely downloadable off the web.
Freely downloadable off the web, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
His answer to that question is about, it saves about 70 times, one turbine saves about 70 times as much CO2 as is taken up in the production, installation and sort of de-installation of all the turbines. So that's, you know, that's...
It is a pity we don't have a supply chain here though, and we let Vestas move off the Isle of Wight, which was. We do produce though, Siemens and Convertine, there's a